follows a young man with a simple yet ambitious goal to become the top of his new school by conquering the school's underground fighting club. Let's begin the story. The story starts with a young man named Ji-hoon, who is at the principal's office with his sister. Ji-hoon is a high school student known for frequently getting into fights and causing trouble at school. His behavior is so disruptive that the principal has had to summon his sister, who is seen as Ji-hoon's guardian, to address the issue. Ji-hoon's sister tries to convince the principal to give him another chance to change and improve his behavior. However, the principal has lost patience with Ji-hoon's unacceptable conduct, especially when he shows disrespect. Ultimately, the principal decides to expel Ji-hoon. That night, Ji-hoon searches online for a new school and discovers a high school rumored to have no rules and where most students are troublemakers. Excited by this prospect, Ji-hoon plans to apply to this school. The next day, Ji-hoon arrives at a high school that used to be a prison but has now been transformed into a unique school. As soon as he steps onto the campus, he's hit in the head by a thrown ball, which he sees as a challenge to start a fight. Confidently, Ji-hoon challenges the ones who threw the ball to step up and face him. He's ready to defend himself, but to his surprise, one of the troublemakers actually bows and apologizes to Ji-hoon. This confuses him, as he was expecting a fight, not an apology. Rushing to the teacher's office to complete his enrollment, Ji-hoon is surprised once again to find that the teachers here are completely different from typical teachers. What Ji-hoon finds truly appealing about this school is that there are no strict rules. The only requirement is to be good at fighting a passion of his, and so he is accepted immediately. Not knowing where his class was, Ji-hoon asked a student named Kwon Chun-sik for directions. Seeing Chun-sik looking neat and tidy, Ji-hoon underestimated him without realizing that Chun-sik was one of the strongest students in the school. When Ji-hoon arrived in class, he was full of confidence and ready to challenge anyone considered the strongest. However, another student named Young-sik approached Ji-hoon and explained that at this school, students can't fight freely whenever they want. This is also why the ones who threw the ball at Ji-hoon chose to apologize instead of causing trouble. Ji-hoon dismissed these rules as mere formalities. Shortly after, during break time, all the students rushed out of the classroom. Young-sik led Ji-hoon down to the basement of the building, where he saw students fighting one-on-one. Young-sik explained that students are only allowed to fight in this special area, and the matches are like betting games between students and teachers. Young-sik then revealed a shocking piece of information: the winner of all these fights would become the leader of the students and have the power to set the rules for the school. Seeing Ji-hoon's enthusiasm to participate, Young-sik told him that the current title of strongest student belongs to Chong Di-ho, known as the Tiger, who is also the leader of the students. However, Di-ho has been missing since an accident, but to achieve this position, Ji-hoon must still defeat 3 other students who are nearly as skilled as Di-ho in combat. First is Ka, famous for his wrestling raving. Next is King, a young psycho who idolizes Sun Wukong. Finally, there is Kwon Chun-sik, the student Ji-hoon had met earlier in the school hallway. Before hearing all this, Ji-hoon was incredibly excited and decided to go straight to challenge Chun-sik, still believing that Chun-sik was weak just because of his appearance. Ji-hoon challenged Chun-sik to a fight, but Chun-sik refused because it violated the school's rules. Later, Chun-sik's friends appeared and unexpectedly stripped Ji-hoon of his clothes. Despite his tough image and rude behavior, Ji-hoon wasn't embarrassed when his Hello Kitty underwear was exposed. This led to him becoming the target of school jokes and earning the nickname Hello Kitty. However, Ji-hoon didn't let it bother him and continued to stay true to himself. The next day, Young-sik noticed Ji-hoon's determination to defeat the strongest students and become the leader of the school. He told Ji-hoon that he needed to win 5 consecutive matches to qualify for the 6th round, where he could challenge the top 3 students. Young-sik then took Ji-hoon to watch Chun-sik fight against other students. Troy was impressed by Chun-sik's calm yet deadly fighting style. However, this only made Ji-hoon even more eager to fight. Without hesitation, Chun-sik signed up for the fighting club. In his first match, Ji-hoon easily won, leaving Young-sik and the spectators astonished. But after a few more victories, Ji-hoon began to gain fame as a powerful fighter, attracting many who bet on him to continue winning. However, an unscrupulous teacher, who enjoyed betting on the matches, lost a lot of money because Ji-hoon kept winning. To stop Ji-hoon from continuing his winning streak, the teacher decided to intervene. Ji-hoon was surprised to discover that his next opponent was Ka, one of the top 3 students in the school. He was supposed to face Ka in the 16th round, but the dishonest teacher had rigged the matches, changing the order to make sure Ji-hoon would fail and not advance further. As Ji-hoon began to tire, the deranged king launched a relentless attack. It turned out that wearing down his opponent was the king's strategy to win. However, when the king lost focus and got distracted by Toy, Ji-hoon seized the moment to defeat him. Right after the match with the king, the atmosphere grew silent as a young man entered the fighting area. This young man was Chung Di-ho, the champion and leader of the students. Di-ho's appearance was a big surprise, as everyone had thought he was seriously injured and absent for a while. But Di-ho looked completely recovered. Chun-sik asked Di-ho not to participate in the fight because it violated the rules, but Di-ho ignored him. This time, Di-ho's goal was to break all the rules by defeating every student in the school. When the news of the match between Di-ho and Chun-sik, to decide who would rule the school, was announced, Ji-hoon, Young-sik, and all the other students couldn't wait to see it. As expected, Di-ho easily defeated Chun-sik, one of the strongest students in the school. Ji-hoon was shocked to see that Di-ho was much stronger and fought far better than Chun-sik. After Chun-sik was defeated, all of his followers joined Di-ho's group. Not stopping there, Di-ho also defeated the deranged king and Ka, becoming the champion and ruler of the school once again. Since Di-ho was the strongest student, he decided to disband the fighting club and allow students to fight if they wanted to. Over time, more and more students joined Di-ho's group, including Yang-sik, who decided to become part of Di-ho's team. One day, Yang-sik heard that Di-ho was planning a fight and might harm Ji-hoon. Still considering Ji-hoon a friend, Yang-sik informed him about Di-ho's plan and advised him to leave the school before Di-ho had a chance to attack. However, Di-ho had overheard their conversation. Upon learning that Yang-sik had warned Ji-hoon, Di-ho ordered his subordinates to attack Yang-sik. Ji-hoon quickly heard about Yang-sik being injured and rushed to save him. He felt immense sadness and guilt because Yang-sik was severely hurt just for warning him. Di-ho then challenged Ji-hoon to a fight. When Ji-hoon returned home, he found his sister lost in thought and emotion. Both felt lonely in this world, lacking affection from their parents or anyone else. Ji-hoon's sister always tried to understand and support him, as she was his only remaining family. After a heartfelt conversation with his sister, Ji-hoon became more determined and decided to defeat Di-ho to avenge what Di-ho had done to Yang-sik. Soon after, Ji-hoon went back to school and accepted Di-ho's challenge. However, before he could face Di-ho directly, he had to deal with Di-ho's henchmen. As Ji-hoon began to feel overwhelmed and exhausted from being beaten, unexpectedly, Chun-sik, along with the deranged king and Ka, appeared to help him. As Ji-hoon and Di-ho faced off in a fierce battle, Di-ho's henchmen and Ji-hoon's supporters were also engaged in a brutal fight elsewhere. Di-ho demanded that Ji-hoon fight to the death, and Ji-hoon agreed. The battle between the two was intense, with Di-ho launching relentless and brutal attacks while Ji-hoon did his best to defend himself. Despite his severe injuries, Ji-hoon ultimately defeated Di-ho and became the new champion of the school. With this title, Ji-hoon had the authority to set new rules. The film ends with Ji-hoon preparing to face Chun-sik, but the outcome of this match remains unknown. The important lesson from the story is not to judge a fighter by their appearance, such as their Hello Kitty underwear. True strength comes from within and from relentless effort.